Hello there, folks. We're nearly there. We're nearly at the end of the series, and what a series it's been. Thank you for anyone that's liked, commented, shared the series on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you've done it. I do appreciate it. And yeah, for the final one, not for the final one, this is almost the penultimate. This is not quite the penultimate. I don't know what the word is for that. Anyway, we're off to Russia. Let's go. So the team today is DINAMO Moscow. To me, they always feel like a bit of a giant of Russia, whether they've been performing or not. And financial troubles and below-average players saw DINAMO Moscow relegated from the Russian Premier League, despite 3 fourth-place finishes in the last 5 years. Last year's relegation has changed everything for the club. Can you fix it? Can you bounce back? First time of asking, how do you combat the money issues? And what will you do about the midfield injury crisis? Last season, as mentioned, they were relegated. The expectation to win the league. So let's look at some of the key players. These names are going to be enjoyable. 4 3.5-star players then. Holman the Enforcer, the first of those, will play in the centre. You then got Bekaraj, the pacey frontman from Montenegro, will get you goals in this division. Pachenko, the lone saviour from a Russian rival. And then you've got Butner, a player that you probably recognise from Manchester United. He's the biggest earner at the club. There's a full team of good, solid players. No stars, just a group of guys with something to prove. 13 4.5-star players sums up the squad quite nicely. Let's move on then to the money. A balance of 1.8 million means you've got a little bit there, but not a great deal. A wage budget of 328,000, you're already overspending on that. And a transfer budget of 115k, which I'll tell you what to do with in just a moment. You're set to lose money this year no matter what happens. It's a major issue, as is the £67 million debt that's hiding. That's not nice. So let's take a look at some transfer targets. Defence, midfield and attack. And yes, well, it's taken nearly the entire series, but for the first time I'm advising you to buy nobody. You can't afford it. Don't even loan anybody in. Just get this season done, get promoted and get back on track. The squad is good enough without transfers. It's not an ideal situation, but believe me, with the debt you've got, with the wages some of your big names are on, you're not in the top tier. Don't try and force any signings through. It simply, as I say, is not worth it. Your team doesn't really have much of a big sell power either. Despite the relegation, most of your team are valued under 1.5 million each. So let's take a look at some of the pros, shall we? I've said it quite a lot, but your squad's good. Your favourites to win the league by a distance for a good reason. So make the most of any good results you get. Some of the big names on big wages have been loaned away for the year, which eases things ever so slightly, which makes things a little bit more comfortable. You have some excellent training facilities, allowing you to make sure players are ready for the bounce back year. And despite the financial trouble, you're moving into a new stadium in 2018, an increase of 8,000 seats. You're renting your current stadium for 480k a year. With a new ground, that expense will be gone at last. Right then, cons. Yeah. So that's the noise I'm making. If you don't get promoted for whatever reason, that's a pretty big problem. Potentially a club-ending problem. So, no pressure. Just make sure you go up straight away. 4 of your better players are injured at the start of the save as well. You'll have to rely on some of the other guys who probably aren't as good. And the majority of the team are over 26. This is make or break for them. Some of the older ones are on big wages as well, so be aware of that. You'll be restricted to an area formation as you don't really have any good wide players. And ironically in all of this, if you have a good season, some of the best teams in Russia will probably try and steal some of the better players of the season. So look forward to that as well. And then finally then, it's been good, hasn't it? In summary, despite never really achieving that much domestically or on a European stage, this team will be familiar to many. Mainstays in Russia's top division and Europa competition, they've dropped down for the first time in a long time. Steady the ship, get them back where they belong, and then aim for the top. Financially, they'll probably need it to survive much longer, and that then brings us to the end of today's Who to Manage. If you've enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and of course check out the previous and next videos on the channel in the playlist, and I'll see you again soon. With love, with care, goodbye.